Hello, thank you for joining us for New Vision TV News tonight. My name is Barbara Nyamwiza. Before we start our bulletin, we'll take you to our headlines and start it off. In news around Uganda tonight, Kaggwa laid to rest. At the Electoral Commission, updating of the register ahead of the 2020-2021 general elections begins. In around East Africa, a Kenyan journalist is killed. In our special report tonight, get to know how best you can live positively with HIV/AIDS. Thank you for joining us again on New Vision TV, live on our Facebook page at the New Vision and on our website on www.newvision.co.ug and our YouTube channel at the New Vision. My name is Barbara Nyamwiza. We kickstart tonight's bulletin with news around Uganda and start with Mpigi district, where thousands of mourners gathered at Lufuka village in Mpigi Town Council in Mpigi district to attend the burial of now deceased Uganda Human Rights Commission boss Honorable Kaggwa, who passed away on Wednesday morning on his way to work. Government of Uganda was represented by the Vice President, Honorable Edward Chiwanuka Sekandi, who also delivered President Yoweri Museveni's message. In his message, President Museveni described the late Kaggwa as a dedicated civil servant who worked with diligence in protecting and promoting human rights in the country. He also commended the late for being a hard-working civil servant who always put his country first before self. The president contributed 10 million Uganda shillings towards the burial, and it has been handed over to the family by the vice president. Chief Justice Bat Magunda Katerebe said he worked with the late for many years in government and described him as a distinct lawyer who always observed time and was not corrupt. The widow, Alisat Namirembe Kaggwa, thanked the government for offering her husband an opportunity to serve the people, which job she believes he did to his best. The general update of the National Voters Register will be conducted at update stations as shall be publicized for each parish throughout the country from Thursday, November 21st, 2019 to Wednesday, December 11th, 2019, starting from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. on each of the appointed dates, including weekends. During the general update exercise, the Electoral Commission will register eligible Ugandan citizens of 18 years and above who are not yet registered as voters. An eligible person who wishes to register as a voter will be able to do so at any of the update centers countrywide, where a registration kit will be stationed. During the update during the update exercise, registered voters who wish to transfer to new voting locations will be able to apply for such transfers. The update exercise will also enable registered voters to check and confirm that their particulars are on the register at voting locations which they indicated during registration. We head to the east now and go to Jinja, where the number of people visiting Budagali Island are increasing by the day as people rush to catch a glimpse of a man believed to be the successor of the now fallen oracle of Budagali Falls, Dada Nabamba Budagali. The man was first seen on Thursday last week by fishermen on the Nile River who alerted the Baswezi, believed to the custodians, and these take up the culture of Busoga as the caretakers of the kingdom throne. Apparently, the person to succeed Nabamba Budagali must be sighted at this island, which until recently has been largely unknown to the public. But to be confirmed to the position, he will have to undergo a number of tests, among them spending 8 days on the island without feeding or answering nature's call. Since his sighting, the 8 days will elapse on Saturday, the 23rd of November 2019, and he has so far impressed the traditionalists. We talk matters fishing now. The communities all over Lake Victoria are currently experiencing a massive mature fish catching. This follows President Museveni's intervention in 2015 to arrest fishermen involved in illegal fishing. The Minister of Agriculture, Animal Fisheries and Industry, Vincent Sempija, said that the President directed the Uganda People's Defence Forces to form the Fish Protection Unit, FPU, which swung into action, leading to this positive impact. In the district of Buvuma, the Uganda National Examinations Board, UNEB, has pinned 2 people for abetting and leaking 2018's Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education, UACE examinations. Before the Lugazi Grade 1, before the Lugazi Grade 1 Magistrate Aisha Nabukera, James Triatemba, 56, the UNEB Examination Manager and Deputy Secretary Secondary Examinations, pinned Siraji Musisi Kakomo, who was the head teacher of Buvuma College School, and Drot Afema, 55, who was the Chief Scout in charge of Buvuma District. Triatemba said the duo induced a police officer and an army officer who were guarding the examinations with some money, who later gave them a go-ahead to open the examinations before the official UNEB time. He said that Kakomo, together with other people, leaked the examinations to his students at Buvuma College and to a number of schools on the mainland. You're still watching New Vision TV News. We'll take a quick break and come back with news around East Africa. In our news around East Africa, we go to neighboring Kenya, where Daniel Kemchoro, a journalist from K24, has been reported missing and later confirmed dead. His vehicle that had plunged into the deep Cheplong Gorge in Baringo County was retrieved on Thursday morning. A military crane was used in the operation that took a multi-agency team almost 4 hours to complete. Chemjo's car is said to have veered off the road as it was approaching Kerio River Bridge on Wednesday night. Reports indicate that the car rolled several times before plunging into the Kila Gorge. Police, who arrived at the scene immediately after, were forced to wait till morning as darkness happened to hamper their efforts to locate the car. We're going to go to news around the world after this short break. We start with Thailand, and Pope Francis has met the country's supreme Buddhist patriarch on Thursday today in a gilded Bangkok temple on the first full day of his visit to Asia, aimed at promoting religious harmony. This is the pontiff's first visit to Buddhist-majority Thailand, where just over 0.5% of the population is Catholic, before he jets off to Japan on Saturday. And an independent UN expert has apologized for misspeaking during a news conference in Geneva this week, correcting his claim that more than 100,000 children were being held in migration-related U.S. detention. AFP and a range of other media outlets were forced to retract their stories after it became clear that the expert had mistakenly presented 4-year-old cumulative figures as if they were the current total number of migrant children in U.S. detention. Thank you for watching New Vision TV News. We're taking a break now and we return with our news in business. Stay right here. Thank you for staying with us here on New Vision TV News. We take to matters business right about now with Lynn Komjisha.
In business tonight, Vision Group board has thought long and hard about the future of the company and eventually zeroed in on a 10-year diversification drive to boost company revenues, earmarking $25 billion for investment in digitization. This new strategy will be driven by technology. Paul Busharizi, our business analyst, joins us tonight to explain more on this strategy and its implications.
Talking to the Uganda Securities Exchange recently, Robert Kapshenga, the MD, CEO of Vision Group, said that he hinted at it's going to be more moving towards digitalization. Which, I mean, it comes as no surprise. Everybody now is on their phones and on their computers and less on hard copy and stuff. So looking to use what we have, our capacities now for content creation, and maybe shift this more and more, tilt our business model more and more towards digital. Yeah. And
then what?
Well, I think it's critical that we do that. During the same meeting, they reported that the revenues of the last year, our year begins in July and ends in June. So the year to June 2018, revenues slipped slightly to about 90.2 billion. Yes. Probably for about 91 billion or some such number. And a lot of this was because one major thing for us, by the way, our major input in this business is our ink is imported and our paper is imported and other things that surround the printing process are imported. So we're always
incurring costs.
Forex exchange costs and stuff like that. So the costs went up a bit higher because among that and there were also things like our content for our TVs. We import a lot of content, and the cost of that kind of thing. So I think it's obvious. Okay, for example, the truth is that the New Vision, the newspaper, produces the most revenue of any unit in the whole company, but people are not buying as many papers as they were buying 5 years, 10 years, 15 years ago. There's really very little we can do about that, but the content is still consumable. We can shift it to another platform maybe and keep the company afloat.
I think it's a good direction because the world right now is digital. Everywhere you go, everything is online. You have to consume everything digitally.
Absolutely. The latest figures from I think the UCC were that there are about 1.5 million smartphones, and that number is growing as the smartphones become cheaper and cheaper. So that means that people are going to be consuming more and more of their phones. So you want to find them where they are at. You can't wish that they'll stop by the vendor.
That's true.
Now we're too busy on our earphones to even stop by the vendor. So you have to catch them where they are at. Yeah, exactly.
Though I still love reading hard copy because I don't know.
That's a function of your age.
It's right.
That's all we had in our business news tonight, and right about now we head to a special report. And tonight, in our run-up to the World AIDS Day on the 1st of December, with the theme for this year being Communities Make the Difference, in recognition of the essential role they play in response to the virus at the local, national and international levels, New Vision TV brings you the things that you have to do and keep in mind so as to have yourself live longer with HIV. Being HIV positive does not mean you cannot have a productive life. This is only possible if you adopt a lifestyle to delay the onset of AIDS. HIV is the virus that causes AIDS, so being HIV positive means the virus is in your blood, and when you start falling sick often, then you have developed acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS.
Oh, the darkness, the days are long.
Elvis Basude, an HIV/AIDS activist and a person who has managed to survive with the virus for 17 years, says that the country has lost many people who would still be with us if they had lived more responsibly, but to date, some people still believe that an HIV diagnosis is a suspended death sentence.
Some people die when they wouldn't have died. because they don't live positively. So what if you have HIV? You can live just like any other person as long as you adhere to certain things. Positive living is a lifestyle that you must abide by. Short of it, of course, you'll have challenges, you'll have problems.
You are as vulnerable to death as any other person in your neighborhood. Well, it is true that finding out that you have HIV is not easy because it is scary and can torment you. But you can live much longer if you refuse to interpret your condition as terminal and learn to live positively. The knowledge that you are HIV positive is a transition. It starts a new life where you must learn how to cope and focus on what is more important. When you have HIV or when you are HIV positive, you must learn to cope with your new status and learn how to live with it. That is what is called living positively with HIV/AIDS. You can still live a good and normal life as long as you adhere to positive living. Basude says that positive living involves a number of things which contribute to good health and longer life of people living with HIV/AIDS, and among the things are acceptance, antiretrovirals, also known as ARVs, sex, medical care, nutrition, hygiene, counseling, and leisure. Acceptance is the key that lays down the ground for living longer when you are HIV positive. Basude, in our first episode, breaks down the need and why you should first accept your status.
Positive living, you must do certain things if you have to live positively. The first thing is acceptance. Okay? Acceptance means you must accept. You know, this is a new thing. The moment you are diagnosed with HIV, that is a new thing. You might not be used to it, and naturally you'll get tormented. But the starting point is you must accept your new status as part of you. So the first thing is acceptance. How you got the virus, from who, it doesn't matter. What matters is your tomorrow. You must make sure that you accept your new status and live positively with it. Short of that, you have challenges because you'll be, every time you'll be crying, you'll be stigmatized. But the first starting point is accepting your new status as part of you. That's the starting point of living positively. Like I told you, positive living is a lifestyle. For example, when you go to Rwanda, what do? They drive on the what? On the right. In Uganda, we drive on the left. So if you go to Rwanda, you must abide by their what? Their system of driving to the right, to the left. Is it right? Yes. If you don't, naturally, you'll have a problem. So the same thing with having HIV. If you don't abide by things that you must do to live positively, you'll have challenges. The second thing is ARVs. Today we have ARVs that prolong the life of somebody who is living with HIV. ARVs are not a cure, but you must adhere strictly to the ARVs because ARVs attack the virus directly and stop the virus from multiplying. Okay? So the moment you don't adhere strictly to using the ARVs, your immune system is going to be destroyed and eventually you'll have problems. So positive living involves using ARVs. Although they are not a cure, you must use ARVs on daily basis as the instruction is, as you are instructed. And short of that, if you don't use them regularly and the way you are supposed to, you might have what we call resistance. and that is also very dangerous.
In the next episode of how you can be living with HIV/AIDS positively, we will look at how a person who is positive can be able to give birth and have a family. Even if you have HIV, you still have a long, productive life ahead of you.
In times of joy, in times of sorrow.
Thank you, Elvis Basude, for that information in our special report tonight. And this sums up our newscast tonight. Thank you for watching us. We are live on our Facebook page, that is The New Vision, and on our website, www.newvision.co.ug. Join us again tomorrow, same time. My name is Barbara Nyamwiza. From myself and the entire team, it is good night.